Okay, I'm now joined by the CEO of the Maximum Fighting Championship, Mark Pavelich. Mark, thank you very much for coming on and having a chat.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, and what I wanted to do then, we've had some really good events from Maximum Fighting Championship this year, MFC, from in 2013. So I wanted to have a quick review of that. So we've had MFC 36 Reality Check, MFC 37 True Grit, and MFC 38 Behind Enemy Lines. So what was your favourite event of 2013, Matt?
Oh, MFC 38 Behind Enemy Lines by far. It was by far the best event. Great knockouts, great intensity, sold out show. That's the kind of stuff I want to do, and that's what it was. It was just an unbelievable show, and leading up to MFC 39 on January 17th.
Yeah, it was a great show. What was your favourite knockout of the year for MFC?
Oh, the Anthony Hamilton and Rama fight, the heavyweight, when he knocked his head off, kicked it right into the fourth row.
Yeah, that head kick was absolutely brutal. What was your favourite submission of the year?
Favorite submission of the year had to be earlier in the year was probably Graham Spencer against Mukai Moromo. That was one I really enjoyed. The way he set it up was awesome. Those type of submissions. But I'm more of a knockout guy.
So you enjoy the knockout more. What was your favourite fight
Oh,
of
I love it.
2013? You love the
Oh,
knockout.
Burchak and Benoit. Anthony
That was.
Burchak versus Ryan Benoit. It was an awesome fight.
And what was your biggest upset of 2013?
Biggest upset. I think most people would think it was Hamilton against Rama. Rama was a huge favorite in the fight, and Hamilton, killed him. And I mean, that was a huge upset for most people. Believe in our country, it was a big upset.
Yeah, Ramo was certainly heavily favoured. He was, of course, the number one heavyweight in Canada going into that fight.
Yeah, exactly. And he just got, when you get to that heavyweight division, man, I'm telling you, all it takes is one hit. It doesn't take numerous hits like the lighter divisions, and that's all it took in that fight.
Yeah, it was a hell of a finish. So you talked there a little bit about what we've got coming up, of course, MFC 39. What can we expect from MFC in 2014?
Greatness. I mean, people got to start realizing once and for all. We've been in this business 14 years, which is pretty much second longest in the world to the UFC. And we need our rightful place, in history. We need our rightful place in the marketplace. And it's very important that people start realizing that, whether it be in North America or where you are in the UK.
Yeah, there's certainly, like you say, there's a hell of a lot of history with Maximum Fight Championship, and like you say, you have been around for, the longest time outside of the UFC. There's no other promotion that's been around and sustained as long as you. We've seen a lot of other promotions come and go, haven't we? But none of them have sustained for the amount of time that MFC have.
Correct, and that's just the reality of it, right? And I'm getting meaner instead of relaxed. I want to put on better shows. I want better fights. I want better corporate sponsors. I want more ticket sales. I want everything, man. And then it has to happen. That's just the way it is.
With regards to MFC expanding as well, TV wise, what are the plans to get them on? Is there any plans to get them on more networks across the world?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, that's up to you. Have to have that question for Access TV and Andrew Simon. He takes care of that department for Mark Cuban with Access Television. I'm under contract with them, so that I hope they go overseas with their network one day, because I know we do have a lot of English fans, and I want them to see our show live.
There's some great, obviously MFC of course, but there's some great promotions on Access TV, and it's a shame that we don't get to see them over in the UK. So I certainly hope that's somewhere that changes.
I agree. I love the UK. I'm one of the few Canadians that loves the English people, and I love your culture. I love everything about your country, and I'm a huge fan. Canadians in general have kind of a hard on for English people, and I love the English. I do. I love English fighters. I love English boxers. And my favorite boxer is Carl Frosch. He's from your area, isn't he?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite. So I mean, yeah.
Hopefully, it won't be too long before we see some UK guys maybe fighting at MFC then.
We've had him in the past. We had Paul Daly fight in the MFC, and you probably will. You will probably see later this year. You'll see some guys coming in the Maximum Fighting Championship from England.
I'll certainly look forward to that. Now, we've obviously got a big event coming up, at MFC 39. We're going to go through some of the fights on that card. Then it's headlined by a man we've already talked about. Anthony Hamilton's defending his heavyweight title against Daryl Schoonover. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, it's never going to go the distance, right? I mean, someone's going to the hospital, someone's going to the after party. That's kind of how that's going to work out, and that's what we do. I mean, it sounds so cliche-ish when I say it all the time, but it's true. It's like I spend my night after the show half the time at the after party, and the other half at the hospital. I mean, that's what the Maximum Fighting Championship is. We're an organization that guys come here to fight, and they know they're coming here. It's not going to be a point karate tournament. It's going to be a real fight.
How impressed were you then going into this fight? How impressed were you with Anthony Hamilton in his last fight?
I was super impressed with him. I like his whole demeanor. I like everything about him. He walks into the room. He looks like he should be playing in NFL football or something. He's gigantic. I mean, he's huge. He's like a legitimate 260. He has to make weight to make 265, and he doesn't have much body fat on him. And that's the kind of heavyweight you're dealing with now in the Maximum Fighting Championship. Very difficult guys to deal with when they're 6'8", 280 pounds walking around, diving down to 265. Come fight time, they're back to 280.
And they can get that kind of dexterity in their kicks as well, which of course we saw in his last fight. What does Daryl Schoonover bring to the table then? What should we be looking out for from him, do you feel, in that fight?
Well, Schoonover's good because he just came in off a win off of Paul Buentello, right? So he just put it on Paul Buentello, and then he's in that position now where he's won X amount in a row, and he's a guy that fights with a chip on his shoulder, and I love those type of fighters. And reminds me of the English fighters; they always fight with a chip on their shoulder too, as well. And so we're really excited about the fight. I'll come on January 17th, and like I said, don't blink, man. Someone's going to sleep for sure.
Now, another big fight on the card is Kurt Southern versus Tom Galitzschio. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Same thing. It's going to be a mess. Someone's going to sleep. It's not going 5 rounds. Someone's getting knocked out or submitted, and we're going to have a new lightweight champion come January 17th. That's what's going to happen. It's awesome owning the Maximum Fighting Championship because when you're signing guys, they know what's expected of them when they get here. We're not going to make excuses come January 18th. We're going to on January 17th. That's what's going to happen. We want people to tune in on Access TV or watch it live. If you're in Canada, go to Ticketmaster.ca, and you're going to see why we're the #1 brand of MMA in Canada and one of the largest in the world.
What impressed you most about Kurt Southern on his last fight as well? Because I know it was a big fight for him personally, wasn't it? His last fight. He
just fights. He fights dirty. You know what I mean? Like when I mean dirty, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's like he legitimately wants to hurt people when he fights. You can see that. Like outside, he's a total gentleman, but then inside the ring, he really has this kind of ruthlessness and this way when he fights, and he really wants to really damage people, and you can see that every time he fights, and especially when he fought Novaes. I mean, he put it on him, right? He beat him the first time too. He was putting it on him there too, and he ended up getting submitted with about a minute left in the fight. We did the rematch, and he left. No, I told him, don't ever talk to me about getting submitted. Don't ever. Here's your rematch. If you want to take care of business, get in there and knock his chicklets out, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I spoke to Kurt before that fight, and I know he certainly. It was a defeat that he wasn't happy to have on his record with the nature of the defeat. So I think he was glad to get in there, and well, he did what he did the second time. He really should have probably done that the first time. So I think it was good to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows now. Not at this level, you can't let guys off the hook, right? So that's what he realizes now. You can't let them off the hook. Once you got them in trouble, you got to put it on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, and also you find one mistake is a fight ender at this level as well, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Sean O'Connell versus Victor Valimaki?
Well, it's the return of Victor Valimaki, but most people that know Victor know that he has an immense amount of talent. It's if he wants to use that talent, in the proper way. Once again, two people don't realize this though. He's a black belt level jiu-jitsu guy, and he never goes to the ground. And it's like I think he's gonna have to start using that. I mean, he's a very stubborn guy when he fights. And for some reason, he wants to keep everything standing. But at the same time, his jiu-jitsu game at his size is at such a high level. And at times, I don't know why he doesn't do it, but he can start using his jiu-jitsu as part of his mixed martial art game. And I think you might see that in this show come January 17th.
Do you feel, obviously, because I know you're a fan as well as, of course, as a promoter, would you like to see Victor Valimaki start using his jiu-jitsu a bit more?
Yeah, I do. Because he never does, right? And it makes no sense. I mean, I've seen him. I mean, and I like knockouts, but at the same time, is when you have that ability like he does, you have to you have to use it in your game more. And that's the only recommendation I could give him, is that he should mix it up more, not just keep it standing all the time. With the level of jiu-jitsu he has, he should be mixing it up more. And I think you might see that from him come his next fight here against O'Connell.
Now, the next fight I'm going to talk about is two guests that I'm actually going to be speaking with next week, which I'm very excited about. I've spoken to both these guys previously, but I'm looking forward to speaking to them both again. And that's Jason South and Gilbert Smith. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I know this much. People don't understand that Jason South, you got to kill this guy to beat him, eh? You got to kill him. I mean, there's no joke. He's relentless. I mean, he just fought a 5-round war with Sam Alvey, the current MFC 185 champ. South drops back down to 170. He's fighting Gilbert Smith. And Gilbert Smith, he can't come walking in MFC thinking it's going to be easy for him, because I'm telling you, South is relentless. I mean, he's just like the devil. And he's a guy that will not tap out. He won't let himself be knocked out. He can take an obscene amount of abuse. And this is someone that, Gilbert Smith, that's the sleeper on the card right there. That fight right there is the sleeper. People, because there's so much other stuff going on, they're kind of ignoring that fight. And that's going to be the sleeper on the card that people are going to go, oh my God, did you see that fight with Gilbert Smith and Jason South? Because I'm telling you, the makeup of both guys is just going to be a mess.
To be fair, Jason South in his last fight with Sam, I mean, they just left everything out there, didn't they? And it was right towards the end, of course, where he caught him. But I mean, that fight could have gone either way right up until Sam landed that.
And you're talking about Sam Alvey, who's knocked out Jay Silva, who went 5 rounds with Elvis Mutapcic, and now Jason South is going down to 170, who can make 170 very easily.
Are you glad to see Jason making that move to 170? Do you think that's the best thing for him?
100% I am. 100% I am. I want to see him make 170, right? And then and it's not going to be easy for him, because now Gilbert Smith is signed with the Maximum Fighting Championship, and Gilbert Smith is an enormous, and I mean enormous 170er. He might be one of the biggest 170ers in the world.
It's certainly going to be a big test for Jason, but Jason's shown us what he's made of. I mean, if you talk about heart in a fight, you just need to look at the fight between him and Smiling Sam on both sides, really.
I agree. People, I mean, you really have to show, that's my type of fighter. Those guys like Jason South, Sam Alvey, those kind of guys like Burchak, Hamilton, Graham Spencer, those guys that put it out on the line, man. They just leave it there. I mean, that's what MMA is missing, in my opinion. It seems like everybody's worried about winning or losing, while these guys are worried about just fighting. And that's what I love about my champions right now. It's really impressive.
Yeah, and as a fan as well, for me personally, I want to see somebody win or lose. I want to see them leave everything out there. I want to know that after that fight, they've got no regrets. And like you say, you don't always get that, but you're certainly getting that at the moment with your champion.
We're on a serious roll right now, and I expect it to continue on January 17th at the Maximum Fighting Championship. I really do. I just see the momentum of what guys are doing here, and it's really impressive.
Shout out again and let people know how they can get tickets then for this event. We know it's going to be a great card. How can people get tickets, and how can people watch it?
People, you can watch it live on Access TV, your home for MMA in the United States, after on the Fight Network in Canada, hopefully soon in England, and then you can go to Ticketmaster.ca to get tickets if you're in Canada. And like I said to everybody, don't take my word for it. Show up January 17th at the Edmonton Expo Center in the City of Champions, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and see for yourself why we're the #1 MMA organization in Canada and one of the largest on the planet.
Well, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. I always look forward to getting you on and chatting with you. I really enjoyed chatting with you last time. I've enjoyed chatting with you again. I just love your passion for the sport, so it's been a real pleasure having you on today.
Do me a favor, too. If you see that queen, tell her I said hello.
I'll let her know.
All right. Tell her Mark Pavelich said, hey, what's up?
I will do. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your time.
All right, buddy. Take care, man.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this interview. If you would like more up-to-date interviews from the world of MMA, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. These interviews are powered by MMA Mental. You can follow them on Twitter at MMA Mental and like the Facebook page MMAmental.com. YourMMA.tv. The Twitter handle is @YourMMA and the Facebook page is YourMMA. Also UFC Live and MMA Fighting. Please like both pages on Facebook.